That is beautiful, Mike. And you know what I'm really just so enjoying about, I'm enjoying this all, and there's so much benefit in what you're sharing with us, but how you're able to really just drill down to kind of like the essential message. And it really is pretty simple. It's not this big complex thing. I hear you saying, how do I keep my own self-confidence up? How do I share that message to others? And that is, to really just take that first step and to move forward and to keep trying. And as you said, play. And instead of making things be this giant, monumental, oh my gosh, I have to change my entire life like right this second. It's more of, okay, what is pulling me forward? What is my compelling vision? What is my purpose? What am I being pulled towards? And I think that is really, really valuable for people to really to hear and to own for themselves.
I think so. I think what's going to come up for people as they even hear you and I talking about this is, well, listen, I have a super full life, and it's nice for you to say, but it's not practical. I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that means that's a perfect indication that someone needs a wake-up call, because there's always a way. And there is always a way. I'll say it again, there is always a way. If it's not obvious what you need to do, then you have to start smaller. Take one small step. Find one tiny little thing that you can do. For me, it started with a 20-minute breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
You can carve out 20 minutes in your week. I don't care how busy you are. You're not going to find time. You have to create time. But you need to create time for something that's important to you. For me, having the vision of sitting there with my daughter and my wife was important enough for me to say, you know what, I'm going to change something tomorrow. I'm going to do something different because it's that important to me, even if it's small. So you don't have to know how to make a life change. You don't have to know how to completely redesign the situation you're in. That's not where you start. That's why stuck where they are, because they want a blue pill. They want an answer.
Yeah.
But that's not the way it works. It's a process. You need to start somewhere, build some momentum, and start with something small that you can take on. Build from a small victory. And little by little, all these steps are going to add up to big change.
Fantastic. So, Mike, tell me, you are so inspiring yourself. What inspires you? How do you keep your, like your energy levels up, your enthusiasm? I mean, you can hear your passion and your enthusiasm through the phone. It's like it's so present for you. How do you keep that stoked for yourself?
Yeah, it's funny. People say, do you need a wake-up call? Hey, look, just like everybody else, I face the same challenges and the same distractions. But the experiences that I've had, when I'm finding myself sitting there conducting my pity party orchestra, I just think of one thing, and this is meant to be dramatic because this is how it affects me. I think of all those people that were up there and how they would give anything just to have the chance at my worst day. So who the heck am I to sit here and play small and feel bad for myself? It doesn't mean I'm not feeling emotion. It doesn't mean I'm not feeling loss. But for me, it's about embracing any storms, knowing that there's going to be something that develops because of this. It doesn't mean it's happy, but I know there's going to be some kind of growth that happens from this. But just like anything else, I believe they're all muscles, and you need to constantly work out your muscles or they're going to get soft. So I'm always looking at my choices. That's not true. I'm not always looking at them. I'm often looking at my choices and making sure that they support my values. And I have a terrific support system. I have a wife my wife has been friends with me since we're 15 years old. So we have such a long history together. And she calls me out. When I'm starting to veer off and I need a kick in the butt, she's the perfect person to give it to me. And my friends too. I mean, I want things to be transparent. When I'm veering off of what I'm committed to being and who I'm committed to being, then I have gratitude for people to say, hey, time to change your course a little bit. You're getting off course here. So I think it's really important not to try to be a lone ranger. I think it's important to surround yourself with a positive influence, whether that's your community, whether that's the work that you do. I am fed by the coaching and the speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So what inspires me, right, is seeing change happen right in front of my eyes, knowing that I'm a cause, that I'm part of a ripple effect that's helping to touch someone, that's helping to change someone, whether it's somebody who reads my website or a newsletter, I mean, it could be as simple as that, and writes, hey, that was great, thanks, it really changed my day. To somebody who I'm working with one-on-one and I see the transformation happen right in front of me, those are the kinds of things that keep me inspired.
I love all that. And what I'm also really hearing from you, too, is just that you have such an openness and willingness to learn with what is kind of given to you, like what life is serving up. And it really, it sounds like you really pay attention to your perspective on things, from the smallest things to the biggest.
Well, I'm glad it comes through. I mean, I really do. For me, if you're not walking your talk, then you're full of it. It's not authentic. You're trying to sell someone something, and it's hard. I can't live that way. Do I make mistakes? Absolutely. I try to learn from them. I clean up whatever messes I make. But at the same time, I know that I can really affect people with the training and the experience and the perspective that I have, and I'll do as much as I can to do it for them. And that's all that there is for me. I want to make as big an impact as I can and where I can, and just keep learning so that the impact keeps getting bigger year after year.
Oh, my gosh. And you are doing that. You are absolutely doing that. So, Mike, if you could give us, what you've given us so much today, so many different, tips and your personal strategies and ideas and how you stay inspired. If there is one thing that just comes to mind as a best piece of advice on how to truly live the life you dream of, what would you say that would be?
I would say, I might sneak in two instead of one, but I would say...
That's okay.
Life is a gift and every day counts. If fine is a 4-letter word. Fine is a good place to catch your breath, but you do not want to get complacent there. It's not enough. It's just not enough. And there's always a way. So find that one little step that you can take. Find it, create it, own it, and do it. Because there's always something that you can do to get started. It doesn't have to be the answer. It has to be something just to get you moving in the right direction. And you want to start that today. Tomorrow starts today. Otherwise, you're doing what I call rounding up. Rounding up is when you say, all right, I'm going to work out tomorrow, and tomorrow morning comes, and today's not the day. I'm definitely going to do it tomorrow, though. And tomorrow comes, and you wake up, and you're like, you know what, definitely for sure 100% tomorrow. But nobody starts anything on a Wednesday. So you say, all right, it's Wednesday. Monday, I'm definitely going to start Monday, and Monday comes, today's not the day. And these days become weeks, becomes months, become years. 9/11 was a huge shakeup for a lot of people who I'm sure at that moment assessed their lives in an instant and said, some part of this has got to change. It gave everybody instant perspective. Well, I can guarantee that many of those people that had that intention never acted on it. Maybe they got intimidated by it. Maybe their day-to-day sucked them back in. But they never did that one little step that led to the next step, that led to the next step, which by now, years later, would have added up to so much. So take that one step and do it today.
That is so profound. Tomorrow starts today.
Tomorrow starts today.
Wow.
That started with a 20-minute breakfast intention on September 10th. But had I not followed through on that intention, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
That is such a great message. Tomorrow starts today.
Yep.
Yeah. So in closing, I'm kind of curious. You are, I can just hear how you view your life and just how present you are and how open. I'm kind of curious what you might have in your future dream life. What is your life evolving into? Do you have a sneak peek into the future? Do you know where your kind of like next steps are?
Well, just like any good plan, I'm sure it's going to be completely different.
Yeah.
At least the plan gives me some direction, right? So for me, it all starts with making sure I'm focused on the parts that I want to keep whole, which means no matter how busy, no matter how big my work becomes, I want to make sure that I am still there with my kids to watch their games, be still there with my wife to go out and have some fun. I'm never going to sacrifice all of that just for the sake of building a business or something of that nature. It all comes down to trade-offs. but there's always going to be a part that's preserved for that. That's the foundation of it all for me. So that's my future dream life. Evolving is going to still maintain a very important aspect of my family life, very big, as much as I can fit in there. Then going from there, I'm really excited about my book that's coming out.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. It's called Wake Up, Your Life is Calling, and it's really about the 5 principles on how to rewrite your tomorrow, and it shares a lot of my 9/11 story, but it goes well beyond that into a lot of the things that we just talked about. So that's going to come out, and then I look to do a lot of speaking, a lot of keynotes, and I just love working with groups. So for me, I see a lot more of my work, even beyond my one-on-one work, being focused on being able to make an impact on big groups, because it's really the part of me that just gets completely lit up when I'm in front of a group. So I see the future as being more and more impact, really.
And it's all, what you said, too, is that it's like really your core values, like what your priorities are, your truest priorities, and just letting those be the kind of the impetus for all that's coming into your life. You've got the platform, but you know what is most important to you.
Absolutely. It's so, I can't emphasize how important that is and how few people are really, really clear on what those core values are, because once you understand them, you know what your non-negotiables are.
Exactly.
You don't have to suffer. Yeah, then you don't have to suffer about it. It's either, I know what's out. No matter what the positive upside is, I know what the sacrifices are that I'm willing to make and the ones that I'm not. And that's just a great foundation to have.
It truly is. Mike, this was so amazing to have this conversation with you.
Thanks.
And thank you so much. And I know that this is going to impact so many people. This is just, your message, your story, and what you're doing with it. And it will continue. Because as you say, tomorrow starts today for all of us. And, best of luck with your book and all that's going to be coming for you through that. And, again, your website is www.humanwakeupcall.com. And I know you have lots of information about your company, your services, and your upcoming book and all of that. So I definitely want people to visit you there. So, again, thank you.
I'm sorry. It's www.humanwakeupcall.com. Just want to make sure they put the dot in there.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And a fun thing that I'm adding in about a month, which by the time they hear this, it might be up there, is I'm putting a little quiz on there. Do you need a wake-up call? So that'll be a really fun place for people to start, answer a couple of questions, and just see where they stand. And minimally, they'll just get to look at their life from a whole new lens.
Excellent. Sounds great. Thank you so much, Mike.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
It was great. We'll talk soon.
Okay.
Take care. Bye-bye.